Hold up. Don't call the movers just yet, and don't pack up those boxes. Before you make your move to Denver, make sure you watch this video so you got all the details, the good, the bad, and the ugly about making the move to Denver. Guys, welcome back to the channel, Everything Denver, Colorado, where we talk everything real estate related in Colorado, and specifically the Denver metro area and the surrounding suburbs. So if you are thinking of a move to the Denver metro area, hit me up, call, text, or email. The info on the screen. I am the one who answers all the calls. We got people reaching out all the time asking questions about making a move here and what it entails and getting the right spot for you and your family. So if you're thinking of a move, make sure you hit me up. Now let's get right into it. We're going to give you 5 positives of moving to Colorado, as well as 5 negatives that people don't always think about when making the move to Denver. Let's start with the positive. We like to start positive here. Number 1 reason people move to the Denver metro area, and the reason people love it so much and end up staying here for a long time, is outdoor recreation, outdoor living, and the beautiful weather that we have. We have a ton of things to do outdoor recreation-wise, whether you are into hiking or biking or skiing, snowboarding, camping, hunting, fishing, the list goes on and on. Even water sports. We're not really known for having a lot of bodies of water here in Colorado, but if you are into wakeboarding, jet skiing, or other outdoor water recreation, a current Colorado favorite is paddleboarding. We have a ton of places for you to do that and enjoy it. And the reason we're able to do so much outdoor recreation, the reason people enjoy it so much, is the weather is really nice here. We have 300 days of sunshine. That's more than most places across the country. And we even have sunshiny days in the wintertime. You'll find people golfing in November and December, and even into some of the winter months of February. But outdoor recreation is a huge reason people choose to move to Colorado. And like I said, we have stuff that's right in our backyard. So if you are an avid hunter or a fisherman, or you like to camp and get out in nature and just disconnect from it all, you have a ton of opportunities just to the west side into the mountains of Colorado. There are a ton of campgrounds and different things you can do. Another local favorite of a lot of people is fly fishing on the Platte River or other rivers here in the state. We have a lot of opportunity for you to do all things outdoor recreation. So pro number 1 of living in Colorado is the outdoor recreation and amenities. All right, now we're going to go negative. Con number 1, we're going to go with the higher cost of living. Colorado has recently been ranked as one of the more expensive states to relocate to. Now, I want you to take this with a grain of salt, because our cost of living is higher than a lot of places, and a lot of that is tied to housing, but our average median income is also higher than the national average. So while in some parts of the country you'll see the median income is around $60,000-$65,000, here in Colorado, and especially in the Denver metro area, we're seeing incomes in the $85,000 range median, $87,000 range for most income earners. The higher cost of living has been tied a lot to the rising cost of housing. Not only has the rental market increased a lot, but the housing market and homes for sale has increased a lot. And even with the increase in interest rates, we haven't really seen a lot of price reductions or a lot of price drops over the last 2 years. We did see more of a pullback in transactions over the last year. We saw fewer people moving into the state, just kind of waiting to see what happened when interest rates hit 7 and 8%. Fortunately, at the time of this video, we're sitting in the 6% range, 6.7, 6.8 is the going rate on a 30-year average mortgage here, which does help a little bit with the affordability. But even with the higher interest rates, like I said, we have not seen a big drop in prices, which has been nice for the residents here. They have not sacrificed some of the equity that they've built up, especially during those COVID years and 21 and 22, where we saw huge increases in property values. But what we have seen, like I said, is a drop in transactions. Not quite as many people moving into the state, and not as many people choosing to sell their homes. A little bit of that is tied to being locked into lower interest rates. But the other side of that is there's just not a lot of other homes for sale for people to graduate up into. So some of those folks are deciding to stay put. But it has resulted in higher cost of living. Average for the Denver metro area, if you are thinking of living within the city of Denver, you're probably going to be in the $585,000 to $600,000 range for a single family home. And if you are looking for a townhome or a condo, you're probably looking in that $450,000 to $500,000 range as well, depending on the size and location, obviously, of that condo. Now, if you are looking for something a little bit cheaper, we do have suburbs outside of Denver where you can get a bigger bang for your buck, where your money will go further, where you can get a larger house for the same amount of money. But if you want to be right in the heart of Denver, right close to all the amenities, you're going to be looking probably in that $600,000 range and above. Pro number 2 is a strong jobs market. So we do have a very diverse economy here in Colorado. Everything from the healthcare industry to the energy industry to the space and tech industry. We do have a Lockheed Martin housed here in Colorado, as well as several other government space programs. So a lot of people in the engineering field end up working here, and a lot of those jobs on the south end of town. We do have a lot of jobs in the energy sector, whether that be oil, gas, or renewable energy. So very diverse in that respect as well. And then we have a lot of financial jobs, real estate jobs, and tech jobs kind of in the center of Denver. We'll see a lot of that in the financial district of downtown or in the area of the Denver Tech Center, where you'll see a lot of financial institutions and banks being headquartered here. So one benefit of this is that Denver is really not tied to just one industry. When you get into some of these cities that are really tied to one financial sector, whether that be the automotive production industry or oil and gas energy industry, or solely being focused on the tech industry, if one of those industries takes a dip in its production and its profitability, that can really negatively affect the economy in that area. But Denver, being so diverse economically, has a lot of variation in the jobs that are available, and so it does insulate us from a lot of recession talk. Think of Denver as your S&P 500 of places to live. We got a lot of diversity, a lot of different jobs, and that's good since the cost of living is higher here. Con number 2, traffic and congestion has definitely increased a lot over the last few years. Now we do still have less traffic than a lot of the major metropolitan areas around the country, whether that be Houston or Chicago. One thing that we do lack is efficient and effective public transportation. We just don't have a huge, robust system. We have the RTD, which is our Denver bus system, which does go out into the suburbs, as well as our light rail system that does service some of the surrounding suburbs as well. But it's just not as effective as some other areas where you see a very robust public transportation system. The other negative that I tie into living here in Colorado is we've seen a big increase in the amount of toll roads that are coming in, that not only are they, rebuilding some of the freeways and making them, wider and bigger, but coming with that, they are installing toll lanes. And while it's nice to have maybe the option to skip a bunch of traffic, I just hate getting nickeled and dimed for driving on the same road as everybody else. Don't get me wrong, I will use it in a pinch when I'm running late or I just don't want to deal with it, but it's just kind of annoying to even have to deal with that in the first place and have to pay $3 or $5 to be able to skip the traffic. So pro, con, I see it as a con. I don't really like it, but a lot of people do enjoy taking those toll roads as a quick way to get around some of the traffic in the Denver Metro. Pro number 3, we are talking amenities and things to do around Denver. There are a ton of it. Denver has become a big city. We're no longer the dusty old cow town of the 80s and 90s. We've grown so much that there are just a lot of things to do, especially in that downtown area. Like I said, from restaurants, bars, clubs, and other amenities to all of our sporting events. We have all the major sports teams here housed in the Denver area. So whether you're into hockey, basketball, or Denver's favorite son, the Broncos, you have something to do sports related. There's also a growing art scene and cultural scene. So you do have the Buell Theater downtown. You have the Denver Performing Arts that's in the downtown area. So you can see a Broadway play. And you do have a lot of artistic things to do, whether that's museums or street fairs during the summers. Con number 3, air quality. Air quality can be lower here in the Denver metro area, especially when we have some of those wildfires in the Rocky Mountains. Not only the ones that sometimes affect our state, whether that be just to the west of Denver, but also the ones that happen in California or in Canada, the drift and the jet streams, however all this meteorology stuff works, we end up getting a brunt of some of that poor air quality coming across our state. So if you're sensitive to air issues and health issues as it relates to your respiratory system, you may want to take special care to watch what is happening with the air quality, and if it's a day that you should stay inside more, maybe have an air purifier within your home to clean some of that air and make it a little bit more feasible for you to enjoy all that Colorado has to offer. We don't have a lot of days where it's just so bad that you can't go outside and enjoy, but if we do get a poor air quality day, it might be best to do your workouts in the gym or do something indoors versus going on a 5K run around your neighborhood or around one of the many lakes or parks that we have in Colorado. Pro number 4, and this is what I think is probably the biggest reason outside from the outdoor recreation that we have in Colorado for people that move here, is just the higher quality of life. Yes, cost of living is a little bit higher, but your wages are also higher. Like I said, you have a ton of things to do outdoor-wise, and that leads to a healthier lifestyle. A lot of Colorado has been ranked as some of the healthiest areas around. Now, that's probably specific to your county and how many nearby activities and amenities that you do have outdoors, but we do have a higher quality of life. And a lot of things that tie into that you might not think of is we do have a drier climate here, so we're not dealing with as much humidity. So even in the summer when we get up into the 90s and low 100s, we don't have the humidity that a lot of places like Florida or places in the southeast have. Another thing that we don't have here that I've heard a lot of people express that they just hate about where they live is the bugs in the summer and just, spiders as large as your hand and other, creepy crawly creatures. We don't have a whole lot of that here in Colorado. Yes, we have our, bugs, mosquitoes, and spiders, but it's generally not as bad as a lot of other places I've seen around the country. So it's a small thing, I know, not having those pests around your house, but when you add all these things up, it does lead to a much higher quality of life, and that's a reason people love living in Denver. And if you are thinking of a move to Denver, make sure you hit me up. Call, text, or email. I am the one who answers the calls. I got tons of people reaching out with tons of questions about the Denver metro area and the surrounding suburbs. So if you're thinking of a move here, make sure we schedule a time to chat. I would love to help you and your family on your relocation in and or around the Denver metro. Okay, going with another con here, and I had mentioned that we are kind of a desert state, so we lack some water resources, no doubt. We do have certain communities that will instill watering restrictions during the summer. Now, this is for your outdoor irrigation. If you do have a large lawn and you're going to be watering it to keep that thing puppy green, sometimes your city may install restrictions on what days that you can water your lawn. It's usually 3 times a week that you're able to water your lawn if your community is under a watering restriction. Not every community has that, but some do. And the other thing to remember is that some of these communities that do have watering restrictions will give you incentives to either go with a turf type of lawn or do what we call xeriscaping, and that is kind of designing your yard to be water and energy efficient. So having native plants that are more native and can survive on lower water intake, some things that grow naturally here in the state. Sometimes the city or municipality that you live in will give you some incentives or give you some tax credits to redo your lawn and do something in the xeriscape or turf realm. Pro number 5, and this is something that Denver has kind of grown into over the last few years, is our food and beer scene has drastically upped its game. So we have a ton of great restaurants that you can visit here. We have Michelin star restaurants now here in the Denver metro area and Colorado, and we also have a huge craft beer scene. If you don't know something about Colorado, it's very proud of its beer, and there are craft breweries on every other corner of the suburbs and of Denver. So if you are looking for beer tours or brewery tours, we have them in abundance. Of course, the largest one, Coors, is out in the Golden area. It's been here for many, many years. You can go do tours of that brewery, but we also have some smaller, more local ones. The Breckenridge Brewery in Littleton offers tours of their brewery as well as tastings, and they have a restaurant attached to it. Really cool place to go and hang out. They got a great outdoor space, and it is even family friendly. So if you got kids, you want to eat, have a meal at the restaurant, let them play outside, and then take a bike ride on the Platte River or the Platte Trail. Great place to go and hang out. So beer and food scene dramatically has increased in Denver. Okay, and our final con, we're going to go with the high altitude and how that can negatively affect some people with respiratory issues. I said before that we do have some air quality issues occasionally, but something that we are never going to get rid of is our high altitude here. Denver is called the Mile High City because it is 1 mile above sea level, and that just negatively affects some people with respiratory issues. Me personally, I've had asthma my whole life and lived here my entire life, so I haven't noticed much of a difference. I do notice that I am Superman when I go out to a sea level place and go out for a run or do some other type of workout. But while I'm here in the Denver metro area, it hasn't really affected me all that much. But if you are very sensitive to higher altitudes, and when you are coming here to visit for your first time, make sure you're doubling your water intake and you're taking it easy for the first couple of days until you get acclimated. I know a very popular thing for a lot of people to do is go and to climb some of those 14ers or go up right into the mountains as soon as they land at the airport, go up to Mount Evans and take those amazing views in across all of the Front Range. But take your time. If this is your first time coming up to altitude and you're going to planning on going up 10 or 12,000 feet in elevation, give yourself some time in Denver to get acclimated before you go and make the trek up to the high country. And make sure that you're also bringing plenty of sunscreen and lip balm. We do have the drier climate here, and with the increase in elevation, things can negatively affect your skin, and you can get a little bit more of those UV rays coming from the sun. So just things to be prepared about when you come to make your visit here to Denver. And when you are thinking of relocating here, make sure you hit me up. Those are the 5 pros and cons we have for you today. I know there's so much more that we'll need to get into in future videos, but please follow me, give me a subscribe on the channel. It really helps me out, and it helps me meet with more people who are thinking of making a move to Denver, but they're just not sure where to start or if Denver is even the right fit for them. We have a ton of different neighborhoods and locations that might be just right for you and your family. So call, text, or email, and we'll see you on the next one.